Hello, this is Mike Johnson for Life Radio UK and a special feature for Windrush 75. Now, each year, June 22nd has been designated as Windrush Day to remember those pioneering settlers who landed in 1948. But how do we transition from a day to the spirit of Windrush so that we can keep alive their achievements throughout the year? To help me unpack this concept, I'm joined by Dr. Dwayne Neal, OBE, and Professor Sir Geoffrey Palmer, Chancellor of Heriot-Watt University in Scotland. I began by asking Dwayne to expand on the concept of the Windrush Day Thanksgiving gatherings.
Mike, thank you for that opportunity just to unpack the whole thinking behind Windrush Day Thanksgiving gatherings. In short, we said from Windrush Day right through to the Sunday following, we would encourage the Black community to host gatherings of their own, whether it's with family members, with friends, in community groups, you name it, you have a gathering where you actually tell stories of your experiences in this country. And we were particularly passionate about that because we know if our community were to do that, then a lot more of our children and grandchildren would understand our journey, understand our story. Because Mike and Professor Sir Jeff Palmer, I think we know that not enough of our children and grandchildren understand the significance of our 75 years. So that's the connection between Windrush Day and Windrush Day Thanksgiving gatherings.
I'd like to bring you in now, Professor Sir Geoffrey Palmer. And I believe it was you who suggested maybe a song could be one of those things that we could use. You're up there in Scotland and, every Burns night, New Year's Eve, they gather together, they sing Auld Lang Syne and so on. And wherever you are around the world, this is what's going on. So what were you thinking when you came up with the idea?
Well, you're quite right. We have St. Patrick's Day and we've got Burns in January, to celebrate his sort of birth. And the point is that these things are celebrated and these are left to the people all over the world and the way they want to do it. There is no sort of script, and that is what is important. And a lot of these events have songs. And thus, if we look at the hymns, which we sing at events, we have Auld Lang Syne, we have Amazing Grace, we have Jerusalem, we have Come All Ye Faithful, and we also have, Oh Great Thou Art. So a lot of these songs are well known and they can be sung anytime. So what I was thinking was that people who are having events should have something in terms of the Windrush gatherings. There should be something there which they all know.
Yes, and something that can be sung at every level.
Yes. I mean, you don't have to sing it well. You just sing it to suit yourself.
Well, that's where myself and from Life Radio UK and from Dr. Dwayne Neal from Reed Society, I then reached out to some colleagues I know within the music fraternity. And they came up with a song called Windrush Nation. It has not been recorded yet, but we have an early demo, which I now want to share. And then when we come back, we'll talk about some of the key phrases and words in that song. So let's take a listen to Windrush Nation, written by our colleague Wayne Buckner.
Sing a song of celebration, sing a song, sing a song, celebrate the Windrush Nation, sing a song of jubilee. sing a song, sing a song. Let it ring with thanksgiving. Celebrate the Windrush nation. Sing a song of jubilee. We gather together, giving thanks to our Creator, who instilled pride and joy in this culture we share. We will pass on this honor to those who come after, a sacred and hallowed trust do we share. Sing a song of celebration, sing a song, sing a song. Celebrate the Windrush nation, sing a song of jubilee. Sing a song of jubilee. It's a song of jubilee.
Okay, so there you have it. Windrush Nation. That phrase, Windrush Nation, we like that phrase because it encapsulates the original pioneers and everyone following them. And wherever you are in the world, you are a part of this Windrush Nation. When we looked at the song, Dwayne, there were some key words that you felt we should have. Well, we all did, the professor as well, felt that we should have within this song. Talk to us about some of those words and why.
Yeah, indeed. The motivation for gathering for us is very strong. And one of the key words, of course, was celebrate. Because celebrating our community, celebrating who we are, celebrating how we've overcome adversity, absolutely important. And another key word, of course, is gathering, because the very act of coming together to tell our stories, to reflect on where we've come from, but also to share where we're headed. So gathering, absolutely key. And do you know, there is something powerful about doing this in earnest and knowing that we couldn't have come this far without being a blessed community, and recognizing that that blessing is continuing to support us as we move forward. Now, I'm not talking whatever denomination people might belong to, but in my heart, I know that we couldn't have come through the adversity that we have come through in the 75 years and the hundreds of years before that, if at our core, we were not a blessed community. And those are just some of the words picked up in the song. My two favorite words, though, which has everything to do with our community's journey, are enterprise and courage. And whenever I think of that statue that was unveiled last year, I always think of the enterprising nature of our community and the courage of our nation in overcoming many of the adversities that we all know all so well.
Professor, what's your thoughts on, you've seen the lyrics, you know,
Yes.
what are your thoughts on what's been written?
I think the concept of gathering, it's in fact in Scotland, the gathering is a very powerful word, because it's where people come together, and that's the term we use for when people come together, and thus the repeating, and that is very important. It is repeated throughout the song, and that again is something that people will remember, and that is critical. And thus, if we emphasize the gathering, the community, we stay together. We're the Windrush generation, and that is critical.
Yeah.
If you have something very complicated, which people can't, transfer quickly. And I think the word gathering, and the other word that I find important is resilience. That our community, one would have thought it, all what we've been through, that we would not, in fact, survive. We would not end up with a voice to challenge for our rights. And we are here after hundreds of years.
Mm.
I don't think any other community in the world have been through what we've been through. I regard it as the most profitable evil the world has known. But nevertheless, we are descendants of our ancestors who've been through that, and we are stronger for it.
A sacred and hallowed trust. In a sense, they have given to us.
Yes. This resilience.
Yes. And so we need to honor that as we go forward.
Absolutely.
Mm.
And thus we must emphasize that we will not fail and we will not give in.
Yes, indeed. Well, listen, before we go, I want to let you know that the lyrics, including the music and parts for your choirs or soloists, will be available on the Life Radio UK website and also the Reach Society website as well. And the song is owned by Life Radio UK and Reach Society, but we are making it available to you to use as part of your annual celebrations. You can download it and make your versions of it. It's up to you. We're just making it available to you as a resource to help to keep this mission alive. Dr. Dwayne Neal, before we go, final words from you, sir.
I've been talking with the chairman of the Association of Jamaicans, who has become a good friend of mine over the last 4 years. And he is going off on a domino tournament in a couple of months' time. And this is going to several places around the UK. And the domino tournament, he reminded me, had been going for decades in this country. And one of the things he said to me is, I am going to tell everyone in that tournament about Windrush Nation and the fact that we're already gathering, and we should celebrate that by listening and singing this song, which is so powerful. So my message to all listeners, choose whatever gathering that works for you and sing the song and talk about our journey, because it's our history, it's our story.
Let me tell you that Life Radio UK is organizing a church service at the Brixton Seventh-day Adventist Church on Saturday, the 24th of June at 11 a.m. So if you can make it, come and join us there, and you can be part of the congregation that will be singing this song, Windrush Nation.
Both Sir Jeff and I will be delighted to be a part of that service. Can't wait.
Looking forward to it. I want to thank you both very much indeed for helping us to premiere and promote the Windrush Nation. We're going to go out now. We'll play it to you again. Remember, this is not a final recording. It's just the early demo, so you can get a feel. You can download the song yourself, the sheet, and you can start to develop your own versions to help you in your celebrations for this year and coming years. Thanks again, gentlemen. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Sing a song of celebration. Sing a song. Sing a song. Celebrate the Windrush Nation. Sing a song of jubilee. Sing a song, sing a song, let it ring with thanksgiving. Celebrate the Windrush nation, sing a song of jubilee. We gather together, giving thanks to our Creator, who instilled pride and joy in this culture we share. We will pass on this honor to those who come after, a sacred and hallowed trust do we share. Sing a song of celebration, sing a song, sing a song, celebrate the Windrush nation, sing a song of jubilee, sing a song of jubilee. It's a song of jubilee.